Hey guys, welcome back to the Passive Money Podcast. Today we're going to have a guest with us, Mr. Charles Kirby. If you haven't seen our podcast before, we're just regular guys that have navigated ourselves out of the paycheck to paycheck lifestyle. And we share our stories with you guys on our struggles that have eventually led to our financial success.
Okay, so today we got the third man in the shoot today. We got Charles Kirby here from CTK, Kirby Janitorial Services, business owner. We're going to give the true insight of what business is like being a business owner, going through the steps in the process of what it takes to be a business owner. We're trying to alleviate the YouTube version of, hey, just buy a business or start a business, and then everything goes fine and well from there. Just trying to give you an in-depth insight of what it's like to be a business owner on a day-to-day instance, so you can see what steps you need to take. And again, we're going to learn from my experiences, Allison's experiences, and Charles' experiences, and take the benefits that we provide and avoid the landmines that we talk about in this conversation. With all that being said, I'm gonna call you Ump because that's what you are. Ump, okay. Thanks for joining the channel and glad for you to join us today.
All right, glad to be here.
Charles, could you tell us a little bit about yourself, just what your business is, what you do, and maybe what your upbringing was like, going into starting this business?
Yeah, at this point in time, I mostly strip, wax, and buff floors. I started out in the cleaning business first. And once I started cleaning, one day somebody introduced me into stripping and waxing floors. And then I ended up just doing mostly floors. I pretty much ended up in business because I was having a hard time doing anything else because I had a prison record. And once I came home, with nobody hiring me. So somebody took me and taught me how to clean up. And then I was faced with the challenge of becoming an entrepreneur, which I didn't even know what an entrepreneur was at the time. I was just trying to make money to survive and support my family. And so one thing led to another. God just started opening doors for me and ended up where I'm at today.
Wow.
Well, cool. That's good starting out. So what age at the time when, you mentioned that you had a prison record, but what age did it dawn on you like, hey, I'm going to start a business or go the entrepreneurial route? I know you said that you didn't know what an entrepreneur was, but go the business owner route to start that. About what age range, time frame in your life did you think of that?
I think I was about 30. My wife at the time, she kept on saying, well, you're working for somebody else. Why don't you, step out on your own and start your own business? And I said, well, I know I got this $800 coming every week. So it's kind of hard to let that go and go out here and just start and don't know what's going to happen, and things got worse and worse and worse. Things weren't working out until I got pushed into a corner and I started trying to, get a business license. Didn't really know what I was doing. Didn't have nobody to mentor me or teach me about none of that kind of stuff. Just going step by step, trying to get things going and everything, And I think what happened was I left Detroit to visit Richmond, Virginia one year, and I was here for 4 days. And God showed me a vision while I was here in Richmond, Virginia. And I saw that it was a growing city, and I said it's an opportunity for a young business to grow with it. So I ended up leaving Detroit, which everybody thought I was crazy, when all I had was what I could carry in a van and my first month's rent and security deposit. And I got to Richmond, Virginia, and I had a job making $9 an hour when I got here. I worked that job for 1 week and passed out business cards after work and during my lunch break, and just began to talk to people and get to know people, and gave myself an opportunity, and it opened up doors. And that first week I had got so much business that I didn't need to work that job no more. I asked the boss how soon he could get somebody to replace me. And he said, give him 1 more week on that job. I worked that 1 week on that job and haven't looked back since.
Wow. So when you started your entrepreneurial journey, I know you said you didn't have anyone to mentor or teach you, but did you have anyone supporting you along your way, or when you first were starting your business? Was there any support from family, friends, anybody?
Not a whole lot. Most people didn't believe because they hadn't been entrepreneurs, and
Right,
most of them didn't really believe that I would be able to accomplish much with it, you know. And I can't even say that I was so confident. It was the fact that I believe God had sent me to this place to do this thing, and I felt like it would work because God was in it. And the fact that I ain't have much else to lean on, so had to give it my best shot.
right.
So, I mean, good answer. So I know you mentioned, you said there was a lot of people that didn't believe in it. So how did you deal with those detractors, the people that were saying, "Oh no, don't do that. Just get a job, work a 9 to 5, just get a job." So how did you deal with that? You know, going into this new space when you saying, "Hey, I want to start my own business." How did you deal with the people that saying, "No, you shouldn't do that"? The people that are trying to pull you back into the 9 to 5 lifestyle.
Well, first of all, I felt like I could always go back to what I was doing if it failed.
Mhm.
So I wasn't afraid to fail because, I mean, at
Like it.
worst, I could go back to what I was doing and we'd be doing just as good as I've been doing. So
Right.
I feel like if I'm going to ever do better than what I've been doing, I got to try something different. Got to do something different to have something different. So it wasn't really a big fear of failure. When I left Detroit, a preacher friend of mine, back then it was $100 was a lot of money. He gave me $100. He said, "Put that in your wallet in case you ever need to come home." You know, I think I spent that the first week I was here, but
Yeah, there you go.
but I always knew I could come home, so it wasn't a big fear factor. You know,
So
I
you,
guess when you ain't got nothing, it's hard to be afraid of trying to get something.
yeah,
Right. Yeah, and we talked about that in previous videos when
right.
I was talking to Alex about, hey, I know what being broke is like. So I survived being broke. So what else choice do I have? I can take a risk and I'll just go back to being broke. I know what being broke is like. So
Exactly.
it's nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Hmm.
Alex, go ahead.
No, you mentioned, I was just listening, you were mentioning, a lot of the things you did moving to Virginia, those are already risks. Were there any huge risks or memorable risks that you took leading, into your business that maybe you can remember that like you had to make a huge decision in one moment? Anything like that? Like I said, you already mentioned a lot of risks that a lot of people aren't even willing to take from,
Hmm.
moving to a city with just a rent deposit and what you got in your van. But is there anything along that way where you remember it like this day you took this huge risk?
Not really. Cause like I said, I was here 1 week, and I think I got here August the 15th. I had made $30,000 by December. So everything God just opened doors. The minute I got here, things began to click.
That's great.
One thing after another. It was like once I was here, I could see the vision clearly. So it wasn't really a big fear factor at that point. I think the biggest fear factor was to step out from the beginning and saying, "I'm going to try."
Right,
You
right,
know,
right.
um, getting here, and once I was here, it was like it was no time to fear because it happened so quick.
Like, and that's how business go. If you hard charging about it, you don't have no time to think about nothing else.
Yeah.
So, you got another question, Alex, before I ask?
No, I was just saying, taking action. That's biggest
Yeah,
point I said.
that's really it, taking action. So, was it any like challenges as you started growing your business? Was it challenges? Of course, you the new guy in town in Virginia. Was there any like challenges you had to run into starting from ground up, trying to start a business going forward? Was there any like hurdles you had to jump over to get get real good traction in Virginia to start your business? Or was just doors just
Well,
opening up left and right for you?
it opened up left and right. It opened up. Everybody I talked to was like it was a golden spoon on my tongue. Everybody I talked to, most of those customers that I talked to that first week I was here, I still have them, and it's been 28 years. It's like they received me open arms. I think the probably the biggest challenge was the fact that I didn't know how to set the business up, business license, do taxes, all of the paperwork kind of stuff. I knew how to do the jobs and I knew how to talk to people. So that was all easy for me, but I didn't know how to set up a business properly, you know, and a few years of messing that up cost me a lot of money, you know, because I didn't have it done right and everything. And if I would have had a mentor in that area, I think that would have helped me a whole lot. I didn't find out the years later how to really do that properly, you know, and that was probably my biggest setback was that area right there. But as you know, nephew, I knew how to talk, you know, and God blessed me to be good at what I do. So if you got a trade and you know how to talk about it, you pretty much can run with that.
I want to ask this for our viewers, because like you said, your hardest point was how to set up the business. A lot of people don't know how to go about setting up a LLC or a corporation.
Yeah.
What did you do to solve that problem? Did you research it? Did you meet someone that led you down that path to, you know, this is what you got to do, or how did you go about figuring that out?
I met my wife, who I'm with now, and she didn't know either, but she knew how to use the internet, research, learn something I didn't know nothing about. You know, I didn't know nothing about no internet and all of that. She learned how to research it all and set it up right, and you know, and now she know how to set up business with other people.
And we've talked about that too. You know, when you're married, it's like you got to look at your spouse as a business partner, achieve the same goal together. It's not, you know, you guys are together. It's not separate, you know, working together can achieve a lot of goals.
So,
what you got another one, Alex?
No, go.
Okay, so I got a question. With all the success you had so far, you've been in the game for 30-something years. Is it something that you wish? I know you mentioned how to set up the business. Is it something else you wish you'd done differently? You know, from your transition from Detroit to Virginia, was it something that you wish you'd done differently from then to now?
Yeah, I wish I would have managed better my money. I wish I would have saved more. I wish I would have invested more, you know, and those were the areas where I didn't take care of business, you know. It's kind of like coming from nothing and then saying, well, I can always make some more money tomorrow. You know, I can always get some more money tomorrow. You know, it's just like I went so quick from struggling to, oh, money's right there. I can just go get it. That it made me start feeling like, well, I'm just going to spend this. I can always get some more money tomorrow. So I think that's the area I would have done totally different had I known then what I know now.
Are there in maybe 3 points or 3 things you could say to yourself when you're younger? Is there anything you would, if you could speak to your younger self, any words of advice you would give yourself?
Yeah, save, invest, and take care of business, and business to take care of you.
I like it.
I like it. Okay, got a couple more for you. I know the answer, but just for Alex and people that don't know. So the question I have, and this might lead to like 2 or 3 more questions, so bear with me. So, all right, how many kids do you have?
12.
And I'm getting to a point here. How many kids you have?
12.
12. All right, 12 kids. All right, so did any of your kids take that entrepreneurial route that you took?
I think 2 of them probably did. I think I could say 2 of them did. Yeah.
And then so when they took that entrepreneurial route, was that something that you say, hey, that's some legacy that I left behind, showing my kids that, hey, if you work hard in doing something, you can actually achieve a goal without being hired by somebody else. You can create your own income.
I think my younger kids more so than the older ones, because like I said, I wasn't thinking straight back then. So I pretty much was just kind of like, with my boys, I was trying to push them to be like me, of course, any father would want to. But with the girls, I just pretty much like, don't worry about nothing. Daddy gonna take care of you. you know. And it was the girls who actually took on the entrepreneurship and followed in my path more than the boys did for some reason. They watched what I was teaching the boys and they picked it up and ran with it. And the boys was like, yeah, I don't want to do that. So,
Right.
you know.
And so the other third question, I said I might lead to other questions. So now you say you have 12 kids. Now, what would you say to the audience or people saying, hey, I have kids, I can't be an entrepreneur, I can't start a business, or to that father that's sitting there, hey, I got too much child support and I can't do it? What message would you have for them that would illustrate to them or give them the motivation to say that, hey, yeah, they can do it?
I think that's all the more motivation right there. Because you're showing them that not only can you do something, but they can as well, you know, and it's going to open doors for you to pay the child support and take care of the kids and do what you got to do. You know, there were a lot of days, man, when my kids went to work with me. You know, I went to clean places up. My kids sat in the lobby and waited for me, you know, and then we did things together, you know, so they had to buckle down with me and do what I had to do as well. You know, it was a family business, you know,
Right.
you know, so it was never just mine. It was always a family business, you know, and as you know, even when I was in Detroit, when the business wasn't doing real good, I was still trying to pull the family into it.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Alex, you got any more?
No, I love his story. Just like all the points, all the points he stated about just taking action, just willing to take that risk, and really that's, you know, to achieve any kind of success, that's all it takes is you just have to take that leap and keep finding a solution. And he went head in, dove right into it. So I love it.
Yeah, I mean, because most people wouldn't go with the a rent check, a deposit in their pocket, and just take that leap of faith.
Right.
You know, and that's something that most people that, especially that watch us, they don't understand that, hey, you have to be all in. It can't be, oh, I'm 50% in, or and I'm 50% and want to be a business owner. It's all in or nothing. Because if you want to be halfway in, halfway out, then that's what messes up the whole situation. And that's why people that have good ideas and then start a business and they don't succeed is because they're only halfway in, because they're thinking of, oh, well, if it don't work, I can go run, I can go do other things like that. It's just go all the way in, take that leap, like you said, Alex, and then more things will prosper after that. So I love it.
But I think a big part of it was the fact that when, like I said, God gave me a vision when I visited Virginia. So I went in faith, confidently knowing that it would succeed. You know what I'm saying? I think that makes all the difference in the world. When you know God is behind what you're doing, I'm not just thinking it's going to succeed. I know it's going to succeed, and I knew it would. You know, and you know, it's always some things to make you doubt, because I mean, I would go out and I built my business off passing out business cards on foot. Believe it or not, I would get up in the morning and I would walk for miles and just pass out business cards to people and talk to people, you know. And some of those business cards would sit on somebody's desk for a whole year before they would call me. And a funny thing, one person called me by mistake because somebody called him and said, hey man, somebody did your floors over there. And it was somebody else who had actually done the floor, but he had took my business card and threw it on his desk. And when the other guy called him, he said, and yeah, here's his number right here, and gave him my business card by mistake. After I done the other guy's floor, he talked to that guy and he said, man, you wasn't the one that did my floor. I said, no, man. He said, but you did so good on his floor, man. We want you to do all our floors now. So I ended up doing like 10 floors off of that accidental business card. So I would say to anybody, get your cards out there, get your advertisement out there. You know, word of mouth and good work is going to take you a long ways.
Wow, I love it. Thanks for joining. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Alex, you got anything else?
No, I like it. I mean, I was gonna touch on what you were saying with you know, not being half in, half out. I think it was Dan Pena that said can't have a plan B, make it plan A, something like that. Like only stick with the plan.
And that's what he did. He made it plan A because, like you said, he had faith. God gave him the picture, and it was just all in. It was no plan B. Plan B was going back to Detroit, and Detroit just set a scene. So I mean, he went. Go ahead.
And I would say to anybody, don't doubt yourself, because I was 17 when I went to prison and 24 when I came out. But that wasn't enough to stop me from accomplishing what God had for me to accomplish.
That's it. And Alex, a funny story. I don't think you know about this. One day I'm literally sitting in my house and I'm thinking of all the excuses that people give me when it comes to finance of, oh, they don't have nobody to mentor them. They don't know nobody. And then I start looking internally at my family. And then I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about this gentleman here. And I'm like, nobody else in the family should have an excuse. This guy here went to prison, got out, created his own business, and has been working for himself for decades. So, and it was funny. I called him out the blue because, you know, me and Unc don't talk that often, but I called him out the blue and I just said, thank you. Because I recognized it when, I don't know if anybody else recognized it. I just recognized like he literally, I mean, you know how the rappers and everybody say started from nothing? I mean, it can't get no worse from starting from prison, having a record, to coming out here in the world. I mean, you can add in the other dynamics of it, you know, black, you know, all that stuff. But coming out with a record and starting from nothing and building what he's built now, I just had to say thank you, because I don't understand how people can have an excuse when he can do it with, and most people don't have a record or nothing else, but he did it with a record. So what excuse everybody else have? So
right.
I had to call him and say thanks, because it's people out here doing it. So it left nobody else no excuse.
And you don't know how much it meant to me when you called and said that. You know, there's a whole lot. You know,
thanks.
And also you said that I gave y'all the blueprint and all y'all got to do is run with it. I don't even know what blueprint that is that I gave you, but I'm glad you got it.
Yeah, there you go. All right, thanks for joining us.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot. And then if we got comments come in, I'll give you a call and have you join again, and we can answer some questions that we have in the comments. All right. Have a good one,
man. Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thanks,
Alex. Thanks.
No problem. Thank you.
All right.
So, Alice, what's your final thoughts on Charles Kirby talking about CTK, Kirby Janitorial Services, and how he's operating his business?
I like how he started off, you know, explaining his background and his upbringing. You know, he wasn't afraid to, you know, say, you know, that crucial point where he went to prison and then got out of it and just went along, and he took initiative along his whole way. Just, you know, he said it was hard to find work coming out of prison, and instead of trying to find work, he just created work for himself. I mean, instead of sitting there acting like, you know, woe is me, I can't do anything, he took initiative and started his own business, and it's been successful for decades. So, I mean, all in. I love it. So.
And he mentioned at the end where he didn't know what blueprint I was talking about. The blueprint was just not give up, just go in. That's it. I mean, especially being a minority. Let's forget that part of it. Just somebody coming out with the record, because anybody can come up with the record, black, white, male, female, or, you know, like you said, he had a lot of kids, and then people always have the excuse of kids.
Right.
He didn't let an excuse affect him, because it's easy to just come up with any excuse to say, oh, well, you know, I got kids. Oh, I got a record. Oh, woe is me. But you didn't do that. And just the blueprint that he really showed that nobody, I feel, understands is if he did all that and went through all that, then what excuse do you have? Because nobody I know else got 12 kids.
Right.
It's not many people that I know personally that's coming out with felonies. And if you did come up with felonies, you know there's a way. So what excuse do you have? What excuse do you have?
Right.
You know, prison record 7 years. It wasn't no regular B&E. You know, you know, you did something, you get 7 years in prison. So that's the blueprint, is the no excuse. There's no excuse for nobody to say, oh, well, I can't, when there are people that's been through way worse, that succeeded more than people that haven't been through nothing.
Right.
So that's really what I get out of it. I love the drive, the story behind it. Just, hey, I just took a whim of faith, leaving from one city to the next, working for $9.50 an hour, only working a week, you know, only working a week, and just passing out business cards on his spare time.
Yeah.
Man, wow. Still work. I mean, I know people that won't do anything after a 9 to 5, and he passing out business cards,
And he said on his
I
lunch
think
break.
that was an amazing thing.
He said on his lunch break too, not just after hours, but on his lunch break.
Right. Just not, right. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. And then, you know, I know you deal with a lot of people talking about finance things, but they wouldn't even imagine doing anything other than what the job expected of them, you know? And I just think that's the amazing part for me, is it was no excuses, and he went above and beyond, talking about how, you know, bringing the kids to work. When you start your business, you got to bring the kids to work. I ain't got no babysitter. I don't think it's a babysitter in America that's gonna watch 12 kids, but but bringing your kids to work just to get the job done. People will be saying, oh, I can't come in, or I can't do this because I ain't got a babysitter. That driving determination right there, that is the blueprint right there. It's no excuse. No excuse. And that's what I always talk about all the time. You don't have to have an excuse at all. Just do it. Right. Whatever happens, just do it. Find a way to do it, and it all will work out.
We talked in another video on, you know, if people would just pay more attention to how much time you have on this earth, where it's a finite amount. If you make excuses now, how many regrets are you going to have when you're 80 years old? I mean, you know, so.
And then you heard him talking about saving more money, investing more money, some of the regrets that he had. That's classic right there, because I hear it a lot from the older generation saying they wish they would have did more. And hopefully they give in more to the younger generation and say, hey, if I start doing this now, then we can, you know, make some things happen in the future, and really give the audience more something to look forward to. Invest now, save a little more. He didn't say, hey, go be like Kirby and Alex and don't spend no money. But he just said, you know, he mentioned, hey, I wish I would have saved a little more, invested a little more, so I could, you know, have a little more stashed up. And he brought up the fact that he used to not having nothing, then having something, and then what's the name? But as people see, and as the audience see, that's still a regret now that he's been doing it for a long time. Hey, I came from nothing, then I had something, I spent it, and now look at him. Fast forward, now he's, you know, 3 decades in the game. That's a regret that he had, that he didn't save more instead of spending it on stuff, that the frivolous stuff that people spend on. Thanks all for watching the video and the content that we provided today. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Please share the content. Please share the content with all family and friends. Maybe they're not looking for financial advice or financial education right now, but they may look for it in the future. So please share the content with any and everyone. Also, if you want to hear more content from us about different topics that we haven't covered yet, or things that you would like to hear about, please comment in the comment section below. Also, remember my 2 rules. Number 1, always question information received. And number 2, if you knew better, you would do better. And again, thanks for liking the channel, and we'll see you next time.